What's up, guys? It's Jerome, aka RJ. Welcome to my first so-called podcast, or as I would call it, edited waffling through the microphone just to make some content, something like that. Excuse the poor lighting, I'm only using my laptop because I don't have no ring light whatsoever, and I'm only using my phone, this squishy thing that I got with my microphone. Anyway, so we're gonna touch on the topic about positivity and how positivity is gonna affect us, but not just us, well, everyone around the world, because as we know it, we're facing a situation where within the COVID situation, and obviously there has been a lot of negative things that's been going on within 2020, which I personally think, and obviously I know you as well, the viewer, is gonna think that, oh yeah, positivity is gonna help us a lot, and spreading it is just gonna be a good thing for everyone, because everybody's got silent battles that they're fighting, which they don't want to talk about. And I feel like being positive and spreading positivity is going to help them in a big way, because you are enlightening them, you're empowering them, you're letting them know like, I am with you. That's with everyone in the world. I like talking about positivity a lot and spreading it, and obviously like giving love, sharing the equal energy to everyone that goes around you, because as the golden rule in the Bible, treat others how you want to be treated. Me personally, I know that I've done a lot of, like, I've been not a good child, like, but I try and spread the love, because obviously that's the last thing that we want. Like, you don't want negativity in your life, you don't want it lasting your whole life, in which I think that, you know, just changing everything in the cycle of just like negativity will, I feel like being positive is just gonna help in a major way. Because for example, beefs, like, oh, you got into a fight with someone, what has started that fight in the first place is just being negative. There's always a reason behind everything. You have this negativity inside you, but there's a reason behind it. Everything's got a reason behind it. Beef is like, there's a reason why you started that beef. Like, for example, someone starts something with my friend for no absolute reason, like it's just basically over like an Instagram, kind of like a social media thing. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that instead of settling the fight or the argument in a violent way, it can just be resolved in a way where you just talk it out as an adults, or not even just adults, but obviously like for younger generations as well. You can just talk it out instead of taking it out in a violent way. It can result that someone can get hurt. It's better to just talk it out, be mature about it, just keep spreading it that way, because in social media violence is glorified, which is negative, because everyone's getting hurt, not just the person that's been affected by it, but obviously the family of the affected. And like, it's real crazy because the reason behind it is, say, childish, but it's like an unreasonable cause of why you're gonna start that fight in the first place. I don't see the point of it. In my opinion, social media just ruins everything. As far as everyone knows, you're browsing through Instagram, you're browsing through Snapchat or Facebook, and all you're gonna see is just like people putting out hate. This is what's going on. Brings me to my point where social media is the center of negativity, and everyone's reasons is basically unreasonable, which brings me to a point about there's always a reason behind anything negative. Negativity is just around, it's everywhere, but it mostly revolves around social media. Everyone's got to make a reason behind something so they can make it negative, which brings me to my point about spreading positivity and sharing it with someone, because there's already too much negativity going around, and now being positive is just gonna help brighten up someone's day. I try and help as much people as I could. If I see them going through something, I'll be like, are you okay? How are you doing? It's a good thing to just talk to someone about, like, venting your thoughts out will help, instead of just keeping it in and like letting that circulate in your head, which will affect you psychologically, mentally. Sharing positivity around is a good thing, because not only that you're changing, you not in a way as changing yourself, by helping people, by letting them know that there's always a light in the end of the tunnel. Like, it's not always just gonna be like dark paths. Like, it's not always gonna be like, oh, it's not always going to be the end of the road for you. What I've learned from my mom is that not everyone is always at the top. The world is round. Like, you just keep on revolving and revolving. This is what I keep putting on in my head. Yeah, you might see your friends elevating before you, but you will get your turn. They've had their turn, and it's gonna be your turn next. And it's a good thing to keep that thought in your head, because like, instead of just like keeping that thought of like, oh yeah, I'm getting left behind, everyone's just above me, instead of keeping that negative thought in your head, always think that, oh yeah, if they can do it, I can do it too. Use them as a motivation to keep on going. You're not always at the bottom. You're gonna be on top one day if you just keep on following your dreams. Never let others' opinions tell you what to do. The only person that can control your life is you and no one else. It's not always best to listen to others' opinions, because others' opinions is always demotivating in a way. Instead of sulking about that thought, it's better to think like, oh yeah, you might have thought I can do it. Like, someone will come up to you and say like,
oh yeah bro, you can't do it, like, you can't do it, you're not good.
It's better to just like let them talk. Keep it in your head and say like, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I'm gonna make it to the top one day. Or not even that, but I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be on the top with my people. I'm gonna make it out of the struggles. I'm gonna be on top, basically. So it's always keep that thought of just, if anyone throws like negative words at you, it's always good to just make positive thing out of a negative thing, because everything's got a reason behind it. Maybe that thing wasn't for you. Maybe it's God's way of telling you it's not your time to do that yet. Maybe there is something else for you to do. It's a good thing to keep that thought of like, oh yeah, this thing happened, but there's a reason behind it. Which brings me back to my point, everything having a reason behind it. One thing may have happened. It's God's way of telling you, you may not be ready for this. Leave it till next time where it's your time to do it. Because like I said, everything happens for a reason, and there's always a reason for everything behind. Like, for example, you got rejected by a girl that you like. It's God's way of saying like, she might not be the one for you, because he's got someone for you, waiting for you. And it's a good way to just keep on thinking everything happens for a reason, and make it a positive situation out of negative situation. Spreading positivity is a good thing, because if someone's got that thought, it's a good thing to boost them up. Even though it won't help them in a big way, it will help them in a small way, in which they can keep that mindset, and they can just keep on circulating that in their head, and then just make it grow. Coming from personal experience, I used to be a negative person. I was a pessimist. I never really showed it out, because I would just smile my way out of it. But 2020 has gave me a big lesson about just being positive in general, and talking about positivity. I would say just having that thought just circulate on my head, where everything happens for a reason. 2, the world is like a wheel where it just keeps on going. Sometimes you're at the bottom, sometimes you're at the top. It's never always on the top. The 3rd reason is that give out the energy how you would want it to, like how you would want that received as well. Having that mindset is just gonna, not just like, obviously it's gonna be a little thing, you do it step by step. We all start from something. We don't always just come out like 100. For example, these bodybuilders, they started from something. Eating that positivity, you just build off from scratch, and then you make it to the top. Keeping that mindset about everything is just a good thing. Which brings me to my last point. I think spreading positivity is a good thing for everyone. There's always a reason behind everything. There's always a reason why that thing has happened, which is not a bad thing for everyone. Like, if that happened to you, never think negatively of just one thing, because it's God's way of telling us something that is probably not for you. There is something waiting for you, and he's got you. Because especially with these times that we're facing, with this tough times that we're facing, where everyone's got basically losing sanity. It is good to keep a positive mindset, you know, being down, getting to a point where you don't trust yourself, like you're basically losing it. It's a good thing to think about, like it's good to make out a positive situation out of a negative situation. 2, you might be down now, but you're gonna be on the top. Everything's gonna revolve. You are probably behind. There's always gonna be a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not always the end. 3rd, karma. Where if you just do something bad to someone, it's just gonna go back to you. From the book that I have read, it's a book called The Secret. It said that you are the biggest magnet in the world, or not even the world, but the universe. What you think of, you attract it. Like if you think positively, if you make a positive situation out of a negative situation, you will attract what you think of. So it's always good to keep that mindset of just thinking positive, because you are the biggest magnet in the universe and you will attract whatever you think of. Anyway, that's the end of the video for you guys. That was just me just waffling. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you took notes on what I've shared. I hope to keep spreading a lot more positivity, and if you've got any suggestions of what you want me to talk about, just comment on the link below. Make sure you subscribe and like, and see you soon. Peace.